Tonight, Everything Goes for Cafe and Neighborhood Exchange. So wonderful that we're going to invoke Allen Ginsberg here tonight. I think that's great. And now, Louis Bardel. All right.
Thank you, Everything Goes. First of all, I'd like to thank Everything Goes for being very gracious throughout the whole rehearsal process, and for tonight, I really appreciate it. So thank you, Steve, and thank you, Katie. Thank you for allowing FrenchQuarterLit.com to present to you an evening of poetry and theater. Tonight we have two acts. One is a special treat with a poet many of you know. His performance is entitled Central Heating, Poems to Warm Your Space. Bilingual, torrid, intense, and musical, author of Tropic of Poetry, poet Will Wynn. He appears with Pete Echenique, Marguerite Maria Rivas, Jennifer Milich, and Maxwell Quinn. But first up is a project near and dear to me, a dramatic reenactment of the Allen Ginsberg interview, based on an actual encounter in 1995 when a young man sought out the advice of a master poet. Performing on the stage, along with myself, is Lee Poerio and Louis Blois as none other than Allen Ginsberg. The Allen Ginsberg interview, the skit we're doing tonight, is based on a book that we have. The Allen Ginsberg interview is the entire interview that was done, plus Will's book, Tropic of Poetry, and these are available for sale for a low price of $5 each. So, without further ado, FrenchQuarterLit.com presents to you the Allen Ginsberg interview. Excuse me, can you tell me where I can find Allen Ginsberg? He's down the hall, room 1000.
So, what does Blake mean when he talks about the snake?
Well, in the orphitic interpretation of the Garden of Eden, the snake is central. Blake uses this story to inform much of his work.
Oh, like in Songs of Innocence!
Yes, very good. It's what he calls the abyss of light. This interpretation also figures prominently in An Island in the Moon. In fact, an excellent comparison can be made between Blake and the works of Milton, as in, for example,
Mr. Ginsberg, what exactly does the snake represent?
What do you mean?
The snake is, well, kind of evil.
A young lady, things are symbols of themselves. In the Garden of Eden story, the snake literally tempts Eve. Oh, what now? Come in!
Hello, Mr. Ginsberg. My name is Louis.
Yeah, so what?
I'm from the College Voice, and I would like to do an interview with you. It's a newspaper based at the College of Staten Island.
Yeah, thanks.
I have some interview questions. Here, you can read them.
I'm busy these days, kid.
But, I came all the way out here to Flatbush to see you. And
You're from Staten Island, are you? That's a long trip.
Well, I'm pretty good with the subways, and, it didn't take too long.
Well, look, take my card and give me a call. We can make a date.
Well, I was really hoping to do an interview.
Huh, suit yourself. You don't know what you're missing, kid. Talk to my secretary anyway.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ginsberg. I've read so much about you.
Oh, have you? Like what?
Howl, of course, and I love America. It's so funny. And I'm a big fan of Whitman, just like you.
You love America, do you? How much do you really love America?
Well, I mean, the poem is so funny.
No. I mean, how much do you love your country? I mean, that's what it's all about. My mentor, Chogyam Trungpa, once said to me that we were distorting the ratio of the senses with all this hyper-technology. Altering the ratio of the senses and distorting the functioning of the personality. It's a sticky situation, don't you think, kid?
Well, I really wanted to talk to you about the working class. Aren't you a revolutionary communist poet?
Look, kid, life is complex cause and effect. Don't you agree? Look, for the individual, there's the possibility of change. You can control yourself. You can't control government.
Oh, Mr. Ginsberg! Not to interrupt and all, but we were having a class.
Karl Marx is...
You can have a revolution or an improvement within your own body, speech, and mind. I think the main attitude is whatever you can do to relieve the suffering of others is kind of the basic motive. Of course, that means working with other people, forming communities to relieve suffering, and of course that means ultimately politics, certainly.
Oh, I'll be damned, Mr. Ginsberg. Are we going to have a class or not?
Do you believe that pain exists?
Yes, I believe that pain exists. Well, first you're assuming that people are real and that anything exists at all. You'd have a tough time proving that, kid.
That's it. I've had it. Yes, I can see that I'm not going to learn anything today.
What did she
say? So tell me about the future of the working class.
What do I know? I live now. Do you know?
Do I know?
No.
No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
I'm not any smarter than you.
More experience, maybe.
Well, I don't know. Maybe less bound to a theory. That reminds me of back in '65 when I was in Cuba. I was invited by Haiti Santa Maria herself. Back then I had some really nice credentials. So I said to Santa Maria, I said, for propaganda purposes, what you should do is have a big concert down here and invite the Beatles. And I said, well, that would encourage the American kids into sympathy to agree with them. And she said to me, the Beatles have no ideology. So it's that kind of gross mentality. Needless to say, I didn't last long in that country.
So, well...
Think big, kid. Plus, Fidel Castro repressed the homosexuals.
Why did he repress the homosexuals?
Paranoia. He certainly was paranoid about homosexuals. I mean, what right does he got maintaining a police state against homosexuals? What good does it do him politically or anyway? I don't know. Maybe his brother's gay or something. I don't know. What the fuck is the matter with him?
So what do you remember fondly about Cuba?
Cuban grass. Cuban grass is one of the greatest grasses in the world. Before Castro, everybody was smoking it. Even the people in the Sierra Maestra who were fighting with him. The youth. The music. The dancing.
What is art?
What is art? I don't know. It's a three-letter word, so it's anything you want it to be. What I'm interested in myself in art is a revelation of what somebody secretly thinks. The thoughts you think actually, that you actually think, rather than the thoughts you want other people to think you think. Beauty itself so touches human nature that it clarifies everything that is unbeautiful and unjust.
Mr. Ginsberg, you say you believe in a humanist revolution.
Yes?
What is that?
Well, some sort of a more free society, free, open society, where you can debate and say what's on your mind without having to be bounced into jail or sent to a work camp?
Sounds good to me.
Well, of course it does. But young man, don't you think we should be talking about something more literary?
True. Tell me about the Jack Kerouac School of Disembodied Poetics.
Ah, well, we started that back in '74 in Boulder, Colorado, on the campus of Naropa University. Back then there was such a thirst for a kind of wisdom education, distinct from the vocational training education in the colleges. We began with teachers like Ann Waldman, Diane DePrima, Gregory Bateson, Amiri Baraka, Margaret Mead. Various people involved with Buddhist meditation and so forth, dance, theater. The living theater people. We named it after Kerouac because he was so seminal, of such seminal importance to poetry and prose and sculpture. You know, I had a conversation with Chogyam Trungpa at Naropa, and he said that society was creating, with all this hyper-technology, we were creating a sticky situation with the schools and buildings and technology. He said we were altering the ratio of the senses, distorting the functioning of the personality. He said what we should do is stop everything, and we should look around at the distortions we've created.
Stop what?
Everything!
How do you do that?
Well, as long as people can sit on their pillows and meditate and keep a clear, steady head, that's kind of like the basic discipline. You know, there's a lot of social action that comes out of the Jack Kerouac School, particularly in ecological issues, and race issues, and gay issues in Colorado. Because it's basically that school of meditation that basically believes in walking into society and working with the phenomenal world, not with drugs. So you meditate with your eyes open, literally speaking. We practice awareness, yoga, Tai Chi, the martial arts, Christian solitude, Buddhist mass awareness, Taoism, Shinto, or American Indian silence practices, where you begin to look at your own aggression.
So if I can take a liberty here, what you're saying is there are many ways to solve a problem.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are many ways to make a problem worse. Oh, look, kid, I didn't mean to scare you away from social action because of my doubts about the Marxist-Leninist police state tactics.
No, Mr. Ginsberg. You've given me much to think about.
Well, I hope my purpose was to be totally clear with you. Before we end this interview, let me ask you, have you seen my poem in The Nation? It's called Ginsberg's Political Skeletons.
No.
It's a long ballad with things like, to Nancy Skeleton, just say no. To the Rasta Skeleton, blow, Nancy, blow. To the Junkie Skeleton, can't we get a fix? To the tough on crime skeleton, jail the dirty pricks. So the talk show skeleton, fuck you in the face. Said the family values skeleton, my family values mace. Said the New York Times skeleton, that's not fit to print. Said the CIA skeleton, can't you take a hint? Said the network skeleton, believe my lies. Said the advertising skeleton, don't get wise. Said the TV skeleton, believe you me. Said the couch potato skeleton, what? Me worry?
Poetry's gonna go on now.
Do you want to say anything to introduce him? No, I think it's good. Unless you want to. I'm done.
All right, thank you. That was Louis